this thing on. Right. So I just recorded a podcast with I'm Doing Great. It's hosted by Mike and Gina. I was speaking with Mike, and Mike is such a cool guy. Look, he was the photographer for Justin Bieber, and I don't know how much cooler you can get than that. So look out for that podcast. I'll definitely be shouting about it. Today I wanted to share something that happened a couple weeks ago when I was going through immigrations. So I went through the x-ray machine, and I carry my rosary around with me, right? This metal, really cool looking rosary from Roman Catholic gear. And obviously I have to take it out, put it in the tray, put it through the x-ray machine, and go through the metal detector. And so at the end of the thing, this guy who's waving me with that wand, he sees the rosary and he says, "Is that a rosary?" And I say, "Yeah, it is." And he says, "Oh, are you Catholic?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a Catholic." And he says, "Oh, I'm a Catholic too." And I said, "Oh, wow, that's great." And I wished him a blessed Lent, and we had a friendly exchange, and that was that. And, it really made my day, and I think it really made his day too. And that kind of reminds me of another thing that happened a couple months ago when I was on the train. So what I like to do with my rosary is I put it around my belt and have it kind of hanging out, but also it's mostly in my pocket, so it's not swinging around, but it's visible. And it's kind of nice to be able to just reach down to your belt and put a couple Hail Marys in when you're walking about. But I'm standing on the train, and there's this guy who's sitting directly in front of me, and I can see that he's kind of eyeing my rosary. And I'm just, okay, cool. And all of a sudden, he ends a prayer and does the sign of the cross. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, cool. And look, Singapore is not a country, it's not Catholic enough where that would be just a coincidence. So obviously what I think happened was, maybe he saw my rosary and he thought, oh man, I haven't prayed in a while, or, he maybe got inspired to say a prayer. And that brings me to the idea that what can we as Catholics do so that more interactions like this happens? Look, everyone wears crucifixes to the point where I think it's just become so normal that, oh yeah, of course someone's wearing a crucifix. Perhaps it's kind of cheapened the meaning of wearing a crucifix. But compare that to, say, a rosary, because, look, the reality is, unless you're some goth kid, if you're carrying a rosary around, it probably means that you pray the rosary and you're quite a devout Catholic. So, I guess besides wearing a giant pictorial cross on your neck, I'm wondering, what can Catholics do to distinguish ourselves? It's sort of like on Ash Wednesday, you look around and you're like, whoa, wow, I'm not alone. There are a lot of Catholics. I did not know this. And it's like, oh, wait, you're Catholic? No. You have people that you didn't even know were Catholic, and you see them coming out with a cross on their forehead. So, that said, what can we Catholics do to identify ourselves? And it's not just about inspiring other Catholics, so to say, who see you with the rosary. It's also, I guess, sort of like an evangelization tool. People see as Catholics being so proud of our identity as a Catholic, and they look and say, wow, these Catholics are really serious. And heck, it's even a reminder to yourself. When you reach down in your pocket and you feel the jingle of your rosary. And that, I think, is an amazing constant reminder of who you are as a Catholic and what that means about how you live your life and what you do on a day-to-day basis. So what do you think? How can we Catholics proudly, if we choose to, because of course not everyone has to do this, but if we feel convicted to, how can we as Catholics proudly identify ourselves